This problem is from the online 2018 JEE practice exam. Consider the following two binary operations in the set ABC. So you have R1 and R2. And then we have a couple choices. All of the choices involve two things, symmetric and transitive. So let's recall what it means for a relation to be symmetric. So we'll say that R is symmetric if whenever you have xy in R, then yx is also in R. And that has to be true for all ordered pairs, x, y, and R. And R is transitive, so I'll just say R is trans if whenever you have, say, xy in R and say yz in R, well, transitivity would mean that xz is in R. So x comma z would be in R. That's what it means for R to be transitive. Okay, so we have a couple choices. The first one says R1 and R2 are not symmetric. The second one says R1 is not symmetric but is transitive. The second one says R2 is symmetric but not as transitive. And the last one says both R1 and R2 are transitive. Let's maybe start with R1. So R1. So is R1 symmetric? So symmetric. So that would mean that whenever we have xy in R1, yx also has to be in R1. So like for example, here we have CA. That should mean that AC is also in R1, and it is, so check. What about BB? Well, BB in R1 means BB is in R1, so check. AC in R1 means that CA has to be in R1, checks. CC in R1 means CC is in R1. If BC is in R1, that means CB has to be in R1. Uh-oh. So it's not symmetric, right? So it's not symmetric because BC is in R1. Right, this should imply that, so if it was symmetric, this would mean that CB is in R1. But it's not, right? We don't see a CB here, so this is not true. So R1 is not symmetric. So does that let us answer the question? Well, it says here both R1 and R2 are not symmetric. So we know for sure that R1 is not symmetric. So what about R2? So let's go ahead and look at R2 now, and let's see if that is not symmetric. So R2. So again, it's symmetric if whenever xy is in R, so is yx. So let's look at R2. So we have AB, so is BA there? It is. We have BA, is AB there? It is. CC, well CC implies CC, so that's okay. CA is in R2, so AC has to be there, and it is, it's over here. AA implies AA, BB implies BB. So R2 is actually symmetric. So R1 is not symmetric. R2 is symmetric. Since we're already at R2, we're talking about R2, let's go ahead and look at transitivity, and we'll just start with R2. So is R2 transitive? So remember, transitive means whenever xy is in R and yz is in R, then xz has to be in R. Okay, so let's see. We have AB in R2 and BA in R2. That would imply that AA is in R2, and it is. AA is in R2. Okay. What about, can we use AB any other ways? Let's see, AB, BA, ABCC, no, no. What about this one, AB and BB? That should imply AB is in R2, which it is. Okay, so I don't think we can use AB anymore. Let's go and check BA. So let's see. We have BA, so BA and AB. So BA and AB implies BB, and that's there. We can't use BA and CC, right? BA and CA, we can't use that. BA and AA, that implies BA, so that's good. We can't use BA and BB. How about this one? BA and AC. I think that might work. Let's see. So we have BA in R2, and we also have AC in R2. So that should imply, if it is transitive, that should imply that BC is in R2. Well, is that true? Is BC in R2? No, it's not, right? So R2 is not transitive. So we know that now. So let's see, can we answer any of the questions now? So we have R2 is symmetric, R2 is not transitive. That's it. That's 3. We got lucky. So the answer to this problem is 3. R2 is symmetric, and it is not transitive. Notice if we would have gotten back and checked R1, we would have wasted more time. So you just check them both for transitivity and symmetry, and then you pick the correct choice. I hope this has been helpful, and if you're taking the exam, good luck. Hey everyone, this problem is from the JEE main math portion, the online version. It's on their website. It's 2018. So number 61. So n is the set of natural numbers, and it says define two binary relations on n as follows. I'm going to go ahead and write these down over here. So we have R1, and this is the set of all ordered pairs x, y, and n cross n, such that, and it says 2x plus y equals 10. So 2x plus y equals 10. And R2 is very similar. It's the set of all ordered pairs, n cross n, and then it's x plus 2y equals 10. And there's a couple choices. It talks about the range in the first two choices, and the next two choices talk about symmetry and transitivity. Let's just go ahead and focus on the range of each first. Let's first find the range of R1. Okay, so to find the range of R1, what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve this for y. So you have 2x plus y equals 10. So you can solve this for y. So y is equal to 10 minus 2x. So the range is all the possible y values, right? So what we do is we just plug in x values and we try to figure out all the y values. So the first x value we can plug in is 1. You might say, well, why is that the case? Well, the set of natural numbers, right, is this, 1, 2, and so on. So we can only plug in whole numbers, and the results all have to be whole numbers as well because y is in the set of natural numbers. So when x is 1, we get 10 minus 2 times 1, so 10 minus 2, so we get 8. So that's in the range. When x is 2, we get 10 minus 2 times 2, which is 4, so we get 6. When x is 3, went kind of fast, we get y equals 10 minus 2 times 3, so 10 minus 6, which is 4. And then when x is 4, we get y equals 10 minus 8, right? 2 times 4 is 8, so we get 2. And then when x is 5, we get y equals 10 minus 10, which is 0. Fail, game over, right? That's no good because it's not a natural number. So if you do 6, you're going to get negative numbers, so you stop here. So the range is 2, 4, 6, 8. So the range for R1 is 2, 4, 6, 8. And apparently here it says 2, 4, 8, so that's no good. So choice 1 is no good, right? So I mean, this is good. This is the range of R1, but that's not the answer. 1 is not the answer. Let's find the range of R2. So again, for R2, we'll do as we did before. We have x plus 2y equals 10. That means that 2y is equal to 10 minus x, right? Just subtract x from both sides here. And then solve for y, so you get 10 minus x over 2. And again, we'll just plug in x values, and we will figure out the range. So let's do it. So let's see. So when x is 1, we get y equals 10 minus 1 over 2. So that's 9 over 2. That's called a failure. It's not a natural number, right? It's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? It's got to be a whole number, so no good. When x is 2, we get 10 minus 2 over 2. So we get 8 over 2, so we get 4. So that's good. That's going to be in the range. I'm going to circle it. And that's one of the choices for R2, right? It's one of the elements in the range there. When x is 3, we get y equals 10 minus 3 over 2, so 7 over 2. No good. When x is 4, we get y equals, I'm going kind of fast because there's a lot of numbers to plug in, 10 minus 4 over 2. So 6 over 2, so 3. That's good. That's a whole number. Let's see, when x is 5, I think when x is 5, we get 10 minus 5 over 2. So 5 over 2, so that's not a whole number, so we can't include that. When x is 6, we get 10 minus 6 over 2. So 4 over 2, which is 2. That's a whole number. Okay, let's keep going. When x is 7, right, when x is 7, we get y equals 10 minus 7 over 2, which is 3 over 2, which is no good. When x is 8, getting there, right? Once we get to 10, we get 10 minus 10, which is 0, so we can't go further. So 10 minus 8 over 2, so 2 over 2, which is 1. That's a whole number, so it's in the range. X is 9. That's not going to work because we get 10 minus 9 over 2. That's 1 over 2. That's not a whole number. And then x equals 10. I said it, but I'll write it. If x is 10, you get 10 minus 10 over 2. So you get 0 over 2, which is 0, but 0 is not in the set of natural numbers. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be choice 2. So the answer to this problem is choice number 2. The range is the elements 1, 2, 3, and 4. I hope this has been helpful. If you're taking the JEE exam, good luck to you. Hey everyone, let's work out problem number 71. It says, if x squared plus y squared plus sine y equals 4, find the value of the second derivative at negative 2 comma 0. Okay, so before we do this problem, let me briefly recall the product and quotient rule. So if you have two functions, I'll do it down here, f and g. When you take the derivative of the product, it's the derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. That's how I do the product rule. And the quotient rule, if you have f over g and you take the derivative, it's the derivative of the top times the bottom minus the top times the derivative of the bottom all over the bottom 1 squared. I believe we'll probably need both of these rules in this problem, so I just wanted to quickly refresh your memory. All right, so we need the value of the second derivative, right? That's what this is, the second derivative, evaluated at the point negative 2 comma 0. So we'll start by just taking the derivative of both sides with respect to x. The derivative of x squared is 2x. The derivative of y squared is 2y times the derivative of the inside function, which is dy dx, right? That's the chain rule, right? We're using implicit differentiation. Plus the derivative of sine is cosine, so you get cosine y times the derivative of the inside dy dx. And the derivative of 4 is 0. So now we'll solve for dy dx. So we'll pull out dy dx. So we're left with 2y plus cosine y. And then we can subtract the 2x, so we get negative 2x. To finish solving for dy dx, we end up with dy dx equals negative 2x over 2y plus cosine y, right? Just dividing by this piece here. Okay, we need the second derivative now. Okay, so now we got to take the derivative again. Okay, so taking the derivative of this, we have to use the quotient rule, right? So the second derivative of y with respect to x, so it's the derivative of the top piece. So the derivative of negative 2x is negative 2 times the bottom, 2y plus cosine y, minus the top piece, so negative 2x, times the derivative of the bottom piece. So the derivative of the bottom piece is 2 dy dx, right? That's the derivative of y. And then the derivative of cosine is negative sine, so it's negative sine y dy dx. That's that chain rule again. So negative sine y dy dx all over the bottom 1 squared. So 2y plus cosine y squared. Okay, so we need to plug in now the numbers here, right? So the numbers here were negative 2 and 0. Okay, so first note that if you have dy dx at negative 2, 0, right? We're going to need that because there's dy dx's down here, right? So if you plug in, let's see, x is negative 2 and y is 0. So it's negative 2, y is 0. So it's 0 plus cosine 0. So it's just going to be 4. Cosine 0 is 1, so you just get 4. Okay, so dy dx is 4. So now we're going to plug everything in very, very carefully. So the second derivative with respect to x at the point negative 2 comma 0. Okay, so all of the x's are negative 2's and the y's are 0's. So this is negative 2, 0, right? Y is 0. Cosine of 0 is 1. Minus, and then negative 2, and then that's a negative 2 again, so negative 2. Okay, dy dx is 4, so it's 2 times 4, so it's 8, right, because it's 2 times 4. Minus sine of 0, right, y is 0, so that's just 0, so it doesn't matter, so this dy dx goes away. All over, okay, all over, again, y is 0, so we get 0 plus cosine of 0 is 1 quantity squared. Let's keep going. Going a little bit fast, this problem is kind of long. So this is negative 2, so negative 2. There's like a million negatives here, right? So this is 4. Okay, this is 4 because negative is positive. And you get negative 4 times 8, so you get negative 32 over 1. So you get negative 34, and that should be the answer. And that is choice number 1. So the answer is choice number 1. That's it. If you're taking the JEE exam, I hope this has been helpful. Good luck.